He had the most aura and mystery of any member of the Seven, one whose personal story would be interesting enough to change the pace of the show. But there was a way to incorporate one storyline from the comics with the story set up by the show, and it all comes down to this: that frickin' nut allergy. I can honestly not tell if the decision to kill off Black Noir was a 5D high IQ chess decision, or it was the most low IQ decision of all time. Black Noir had the aura of Snake Eyes and Batman put together, for God's sakes. He was the most interesting member of the Seven, if we're being real. And if you compare him to the new Black Noir they used to replace him. Listen, I like the new Black Noir. He's funny, he's got jokes, he's got a personality. He's a very weird guy who just wants to know what his place is in the world. But I'm gonna be real. He doesn't compare to the old Black Noir. I believe that this is a problem that many studios have. Let's take an existing character and the aura of him will be ruined because of jokes, because we want to play a parody, or because we want to subvert people's expectations like they did. Because, listen, The Boys TV show, I think it's better that it doesn't follow the comics all the way through. The comics are edgy, dark. Soldier Boy gets molested in the butthole by Homelander. Okay? That's what happens. In the comic books, Black Noir is Homelander's clone who kills him. Instead, they make Homelander kill Black Noir, and there's no cloning involved. They want to subvert expectations. And, realistically, they want to stall Homelander's existence out for as long as they can, because they know if Homelander dies, they don't really have much of a story anymore. At least not one that they can write as interestingly as Homelander, because they're low IQ writers, let's not forget. But he had the most interesting story. He was a goddamn ninja. This dude was a soup that trained in dojos, became a master in martial arts. And Stan Edgar told him, bro, listen, even though you're a badass, you need to keep the mask on because you'll be more marketable. No one wants to see your face, bro. And Black Noir's like, no, man, why? Black Noir knows he has potential. He knows he can be a leading man, but Stan Edgar's like, no, you need to be supporting member to him. And then Soldier Boy beats Black Noir's ass because Black Noir dares challenge the status quo. And Black Noir gets destroyed so badly, he has the mind of a 7-year-old. Not on top of being horrifically scarred, he starts getting delusions of cartoons. This is what this man has. Very interesting story. And him and Stan Edgar are buddies. The way they talk, I've never seen Stan Edgar be that personal with a Soup member from the Seven, right? Especially back when Payback was a team. So this makes me think they were cooking something up, y'all. Stan Edgar and Black Noir, they had something going, and we're gonna get into that. But we missed out on this. The final confrontation, a rematch between Soldier Boy and Black Noir, and Amazon took it from us. They took it from us. This would have been so good. Now we got Homelander, who's basically the president. He's ruling everything with his army of soups. And he's got Soldier Boy with him. And he's probably going to resuscitate him. And Soldier Boy might not join his side at first, but it's not like Soldier Boy's going to be against him. If anything, Soldier Boy's going to be against the boys. So we have a setup for a final confrontation if they go the route that I think they should, especially if they are more high IQ, these writers, than I think they are. A high IQ return, what does this look like? It comes down to this man. Stan Edgar is a freaking intellectual. He knows what's happening. There's no way you're convincing me that Stan Edgar was perfectly fine with allowing Homelander to operate without any contingency, because remember, Stan Edgar had power over Homelander. Stan Edgar said, listen, you want to be loved. You're a bottomless pit of insecurity. The Vought controls your image, y'all. That's the leverage he had over Homelander. But he had to know that even as someone as unstable and crazy as Homelander, eventually that wouldn't be enough to keep him in check. Eventually you're going to need a contingency physically. And I believe Stan Edgar had that. Now, what have I told you? All the soups, there's different development of their powers. Starlight she had her powers since she was a toddler, but the Deep, he didn't get his powers until he hit puberty or he matured. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Different soups have different timelines of when their abilities develop within their bodies. Now, it's entirely possible that Black Noir has one set of his abilities. His existing abilities are durability, strength, and some kind of regenerative healing factor. That's how we know Black Noir as he is. But what if he had a secret fail-safe set of abilities that were built in him genetically, that were made to develop way later when the conditions were right scientifically? Remember, Soldier Boy got kidnapped by the Russians, experimented on, and he was given a new set of abilities, that laser beam that he bursts from his chest that can destroy V, right? What if they did the same thing with Black Noir, but way earlier? way when he was first created, he was designed perfectly. Maybe they used Soldier Boy's DNA to kind of help with this, I don't know. But he was designed perfectly to have been given a fail-safe set of abilities that would kick in. Abilities would kick in basically in the worst conditions, maybe upon his death, maybe when he's on the verge of death. You know how Deadpool was getting oxygen depleted from him in and out, so that they had to trigger his mutation? Different mutants in the X-Men series, they have a mutation that gets triggered due to some kind of outside stress. Maybe he was built to have something similar happen. And the abilities kick in under the right conditioning. One, whether Stan Edgar and his scientists say so, and they bring him for testing, and then they initiate whatever the sequence would be for that V power to develop, or they kick in naturally when his heart stops or when he's on the brink of death, right? So unlike the comic books, where Black Noir was a clone of Homelander and killed Homelander, we have Black Noir who has similar DNA to Homelander, similar powers that get developed later on in his life. Flight, way more strength, way more durability. He doesn't have lasers or anything like that. He doesn't have all the powers, but he has just enough to match Homelander as the perfect contingency for him. And this brings us to the nut allergy, the tree nut allergy that has all been leading up to. Why was it such a random weakness for this badass to have, right? Now, you could say, okay, it's just a meme joke thing, right? Because the actor has a tree nut allergy and they use that. What if I told you it goes deeper? What if I told you this random weakness is the perfect convenient kryptonite for someone like Stan Edgar? Because Stan Edgar is a man of contingencies. He has a contingency for Homelander in the form of Black Noir, but he needs a contingency for Black Noir in case he goes down a rabbit hole, right? So he built in that contingency for the contingency when he designed Black Noir. Homelander was, I believe he was born a soup, right? He wasn't even designed. He was born and flew from his mom's uterus. Black Noir was designed perfectly with a failsafe in the form of new abilities and a tree nut allergy. If anyone has, if Stan Edgar has an almond joy in his utility belt and pulls it out, Black Noir's screwed. It's genius if you think about it. It's really genius. So Homelander kills Black Noir, almost. Black Noir is on the edge of death, but his regenerative healing factor, which is, it's not doing a lot for him, but it's keeping him alive long enough for Stan Edgar's people in Vought. Maybe there are some employees that are loyal to Stan Edgar. They take his body out and they go to a laboratory with Stan Edgar in it, and they trigger the final failsafe mutation. I don't know if you would call it a mutation, but his new powers develop, and they let out the devil essentially, the real Black Noir. So instead, remember, in the comics, Black Noir comes in as Homelander's clone, kills Homelander. Well, in this, Black Noir can come in and kill the replacement Noir that they use for him. Rip out his spine. Imagine how badass that would be. How much shocking it would be for Homelander in the 7 if that was to randomly happen. Black Noir just walks in, kills him. Brutally. Destroys that man. Imagine the fear that it would strike in Homelander to see Black Noir flying and can take his laser beams. Instead of, I never liked the idea of Butcher being a freaking soup, I'll be honest. After he got Temp V, I think that should have been it. I love the idea of Butcher still being human till the very end and finding a way to beat the soups. I was fine with his tumor getting powers or whatever, but I don't like the story with him grabbing a virus and having these powers, no. Instead, I would love him to go down the path of darkness by making a deal with the devil. Make a deal with Stan Edgar that we're going to use Black Noir to go and kill Homelander and his entire crew. And we're going to systematically, and maybe he can use Black Noir to help him get the virus out, right? But he needs a powerhouse like Black Noir because the boys are all done. They're disbanded and half of them are in prison, right? So he needs this dude. And Homelander has got Soldier Boy with him. It's the perfect 2v2 fight. And at the end, you could say maybe Butcher betrays Stan, kills him because he makes a deal with Stan. Hey, listen, I'll make you leader of Vought. I'll help you get back into Vought. You help me destroy Homelander, right? But after he does that, he betrays Stan, and Stan is very close to Black Noir. So he will tell Black Noir the remaining soups killed Stan Edgar. And maybe he blames Starlight and Kamiko and some of those soups too, right? He wants all soups gone, so this is the perfect way. Be the puppet master to Black Noir, who's the doomsday device to all the existing soups, right? It's perfect. And that begins his true descent into villainy as a final villain of the boys. Him doing morally bankrupt things like teaming up with Stan Edgar and then backstabbing Stan Edgar and using Black Noir to destroy everyone. And then that forces Huey and the boys to stop him. And then we have our long-awaited rematch between these two. This isn't hard to do. I don't know, Soldier Boy might die in this fight because Black Noir with his new powers, that's a different mode. These two would have the best fight in the show. And I don't know, you can have Black Noir lose, you can have both of them die, maybe Soldier Boy gets a redemption arc here. Maybe he's forced to apologize. Maybe in beating Black Noir and stopping Black Noir from killing everyone else, Soldier Boy can get a redemption arc. Regardless, you have so many ways you can play with this kind of battle. And Amazon ruined it. What I've done, I've given you some ideas for things you can do Black Noir. Do it. And listen, I understand if they try to bring Black Noir in for the final season, the season might be crowded, right? It's their fault. Their fault for adding too many characters. But honestly, if you keep it like this, Butcher and the remaining boys, Homelander, Soldier Boy, Ryan, and then Butcher using Black Noir as a scapegoat and ultimate weapon instead of the whole virus. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I believe you could have had a really good final season. That would have helped please every single fan. But Amazon is so low IQ. They're a notch above Disney, don't get me wrong. They've made some really good stuff. They ruined Rings of Power. I can't even watch that, to be honest. I know a lot of Rings of Power fans are out there. I don't know how you exist, but there are. I don't know what to say. And it's all because they want to extend this man's run. Let's just be real about it. And I had no problem with that. He's one of my favorite villains of all time, but at some point, we can't be ruining other characters for him, all right? If you want to know how this character should lose, how his fate should be done at the end of the final season, the true loss of Homelander, and it might not be death, watch this video here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movie theories with like-minded individuals in a community geared towards changing storytelling itself, join the free Discord now. The link is in the description below and probably in the comment section too. Join the Discord now. We're taking over Hollywood one Coke line at a time. See you on the other side.